What's up, guys? We got one here from Manosphere Daily. Women are shaking over Bill 732, end of no fault divorce. Let's get into it.
No, because I promise you, I'm the wrong one to ever play the I'm not going to text first game. I will literally never speak to you again in my entire life. Never.
Oh, look, I'm not texting first game. I mean, bravo. Because nothing screams maturity like playing psychological tug-of-war with someone's attention span. Both sides were to dig in. We've got ourselves a modern dating scene, which is a Mexican standoff of silence. I mean, this is why men are opting out. Ladies, let us know when emotional standoff season is over so we can get back to adulting.
Someone who shares about their divorce online, I have thousands and thousands of comments and DMs from men and women who are either getting divorced or are post-divorce. And something that I think is really interesting as a pattern about the difference between men and women post-divorce is that while divorce sucks for everybody, generally, women come out of divorce and their lives are on an upswing. They're more fulfilled. They're happier, they're calmer, their homes are peaceful. They're doing things that are for them versus for someone else. And men, alternatively, go through divorce and have a much harder time. A much harder time finding fulfillment, finding satisfaction. Now, of course, these are like broad generalizations. I know there are many men who go through divorce and are happier post-divorce. But as far as their lives being easier, the trend, again, based on thousands and thousands of comments, DMs, and conversations, is that post-divorce life for women is a whole lot better than post-divorce life for men. And then you start to think, why is that? And while I know why that is for myself, I think the realization is that post-divorce, men realize how much work women were doing for them, how much thought went into making their lives easier. And once women are free from marriage and free from past their divorce, all that energy that they spend putting into supporting their man goes towards supporting themselves and making themselves fulfilled and doing things that make their own lives easier and happier and safer. So while, of course, there are wonderful men out there and there are men who come out of divorce and they are living that more fulfilled life, it's really, really hard for me to ignore that pattern.
So basically, women come out of divorce glowing and men crawl out like Golem. I mean, sure, glowing means writing alimony checks while men lose half their savings, because that's basically what happens, is the women get set up well and the men come out of it in financial ruins. But let's not ignore the social script here, is women reclaiming their peace and men realizing they've been subsidizing someone else's dream life for years. It's funny how liberation looks suspiciously like someone else's hard-earned cash.
How much did my divorce cost me? Well, this is a fantastic question. There's direct and there's indirect costs. Direct costs, I lost $106,000 out of my 401k retirement plan I spent 20 years contributing to. I also lost half the equity in the home, stocks, bonds, mutual funds, cash, and savings that I also spent 20 years contributing to. I also lost half of all the non-liquid assets like furniture, household goods, electronics, cars. Keep in mind, I paid for all of these. And this is in addition to financially supporting her and her/our daughter for 17 years, which is many hundreds of thousands of dollars. I'm now broke, live in a 2-bedroom apartment, and have a negative net worth for the first time since I was, 25. Indirect costs: my job, my sobriety, my self-worth, my masculinity, my hope for the future, my ability to trust women again, my belief in God, my pride, my motivation, my physical health. Let's just say everything.
Yeah, the guy basically lost everything but the oxygen in his apartment that he currently lives in. Retirement gone, assets halved, trust in women bankrupted. And let's not forget his masculinity. It seems like family court left that behind with his furniture. I mean, men aren't just losing money in divorces, they're losing their sanity. But hey, at least the system's fair, right?
Well, it certainly didn't take long for bills impacting marriage, divorce, and annulment to start rolling in for the 2025 legislative session. So we have Texas coming in, which we know is, one of the most conservative states. One of their conservative lawmakers filed 2 bills regarding marriage, divorce, and annulment for the 2025 legislative session. This is from Lone Star Live, from that website, and it was published November 14th. So the latest, and I'm going to read it because I don't know all this stuff, but 2 pieces of legislation submitted. One is House Bill 732, which would repeal a section of the Texas Family Code that allows marriages to be annulled on the grounds of impotency. So currently it allows for an annulment specifically if either party was permanently impotent at the time of marriage, the other did not know their spouse was impotent, and they had not voluntarily cohabited since finding out. So if passed, House Bill 732 would apply only to marriage annulment requests filed on or before September 1st of 2025. So that is in process. The other bill in Texas is House Bill 931, which would make Texas one of 4 states that allow covenant marriage, and they have covenant marriage in quotes. That type of arrangement is tied to conservative Christianity and emphasizes marriage being for life, although divorce is still legally available. So some notable political figures that have entered into covenant marriages, we'll see if any of these names sound familiar to you. U.S. House Speaker Mike Johnson, and former Arkansas Governor Mike Huckabee. Advocates say it promotes traditional family values, which again is a phrase that was all over the original full text of the Project 2025 document, all 922 pages. And it encourages couples to solve marital problems. So some critics say it makes it harder for people to flee abusive situations and represents a government endorsement of a specific form of religious, I trip over that word, specific forms of religious marriage. So under the proposed Texas state law, couples are legally required to complete at least 5 hours of premarital counseling from a clergy member or licensed marriage counselor before entering into a covenant marriage. So again, another tie back to the Project 2025 language was that there would be a lot of faith-based marital counseling and faith-based marital supports that would be focused on. So to divorce, both parties must agree to the split, as well as attend at least 5 hours of counseling from a clergy member or licensed counselor. So here's a caveat. Entering into a covenant marriage would be voluntary. And they could not be charged a fee for issuing a covenant marriage license under H. Bill 931. Non-covenant marriage participants still would be required to pay a fee unless the couple completed state-approved premarital education courses, which I would say the unspoken part there is faith-based. Again, this is from an article that was posted on LoneStarLive.com on November 14th. So very, very current. And it's already showing like legislation like this, these House bills, these things that are not necessarily stating the removal or retraction of no-fault divorce, which is a term you hear a lot. They're coming in, named a little bit different nuances and what's required, what's restricted, what's mandatory. But, you know, as with any good contract or House bill, it's all in the fine print. So it'll be interesting to see what other states decide to start introducing legislation that impacts marriage and divorce and requirements around both of those things going into the 2025 legislative session. Follow, comment.
So covenant marriage sounds like a 1950s reboot where divorce means 5 hours of clergy counseling and a side of guilt. I mean, sure, it might preserve family values, but what's the fine print? Probably your freedom. I mean, Texas seems to think they know best, and after all, nothing fixes a broken marriage like mandatory therapy with Father Bob. Although my concern is governments have a tendency to step in and fuck things up. I mean, I get what they're trying to do. Having the family values and traditional marriages back in place is a great thing, but again, government's involved. Need I say more? No, but we got the critics saying this is going to make it harder to leave abusive marriages. I can see that being an issue, but doesn't the whole system already trap men into financial abuse? I mean, 5 hours of counseling before divorce, why not have the scavenger hunt while you're at it? I mean, the spoiler, the treasurer's realizing your wallet's empty. The law screams, we care about tradition, but really, it's just red tape dipped in holy water. But, I mean, I've been in a church one time. I've been through a few, but one of the churches I had been a part of, before they would marry anybody, they did require some type of premarital counseling classes before they would marry anybody and wanted to marry in the church. I don't see anything wrong with that. Not of all the people that I've known that's married in that church have still been together to this day. This is talking over 20 years now. So is there some good stuff out of that? Yeah, but I should add a caveat. With the people that I do know, it's a fair amount of people. I'd say it's like over 20, 25 couples. Yeah, but with that, they do know marriage is not just walk in a park. There are peaks, there are valleys, there are definite difficult times. It's how you get through those difficult times and get back to the good times is what makes the difference. Is how do you handle the negatives, all the turmoil that arises in a marriage. I mean, it happens. It's not perfect 100% of the time. And they do know they have their church that they can go talk to, the leadership of the church, the pastor, any of the counselors that they have there to be able to work through any issues that they might have. But again, out of all the people that I've known, as far as I know, nobody's ever said anything otherwise. There's no DV out of it. There's been no form of cheating out of it. And everybody that I've known at this point, they're still together to this day. I mean, there is something there to that there, but again, government gets their hands in on this shit. They make things worse sometimes. I mean, we can only be hopeful, right?
I went to divorce court today. I was very nervous, but I did well because I didn't have to talk. I only sat there. My attorney spoke for me. My soon-to-be ex-husband didn't look so well. Doesn't look well at all compared to what he normally looks. This court date was not supposed to have happened. Technically, it shouldn't have had to have happened because we should have been able to figure everything out in mediation, which was scheduled for the end of October, of which we had to cancel because he has yet to provide any financial documents. Any. He just simply doesn't provide anything. The judge got after him and told him that he needs to step up and provide financial documents. He tried to claim, well, because I'm not having an attorney, then I just didn't know. You know, he's smart. You also are literally sleeping with an attorney, mister. Come on. We're not that dumb. Unbelievable. He can play dumb all he wants, but we see through him. Note to self, don't mess around with the judicial system. If you want out of your marriage, you can do it in so many better ways than what my soon-to-be ex-husband is doing.
There's a lot of bitterness in this one. I think the ex-husband or soon-to-be ex-husband is the one initiating the divorce. Just my guess. What do you guys think? But we got the ex-husband did know how to file financial documents. I mean, but yet he's sleeping with an attorney. I mean, it seems like someone's intelligence only activates when it's convenient. A note to self, the judicial system is not a place to play dumb unless your goal is to inspire TikTok rants. And a pro tip, weaponizing incompetence doesn't work when the judge has a law degree. And while I'm at it, I wanted to add another caveat there to the previous video for the covenant marriage, making it difficult to leave marriages with DV or anything like that. That is easy enough to prove. All it does is takes a phone call to the police and filing a report. You just have to be willing to do that. I think that could cut down a lot of the false accusations, but I think that's another beast that needs to be tackled. But anyways, it would not be harder to leave. Any type of physical PV can be proven easily with police intervention. Financial abuse or something like that. I mean, that might be a little more difficult. I get, but I think what they're trying to allude to is more of like DV, PV, stuff like that. And that's a phone call to the police, filing police report, restraining orders, whatever like that. And you can get your divorce very easily. But here's the red pill reality. I mean, marriage and divorce is rigged, but not in a way that Hallmark or Hollywood teaches us. Men risk everything: money, health, sanity. And while women often walk away with half of their partner's life savings and a motivational TikTok career, in the system, that's designed to milk the average guy dry while selling empowerment to women. Social media and the modern laws have dismantled the family unit. We all know this. Men are checking out, going their own way, or they're heading to countries where relationships aren't a financial death sentence. We know this is going on too. Marriage in the West, it's not a covenant, it's a contract, and it's written by your future ex-wife's lawyer. So solutions, I mean, men, just avoid the trap. Focus on building yourself up financially, mentally, and physically. We talk about this all the time, and many channels talk about this. And women, stop viewing relationships as an extraction point. Again, we talk about this on this channel and many channels, and societies maybe stop making divorce a lottery ticket for one side and a life sentence for the other. Anyways, guys, that's the end of the video here. If you like what you've seen today, hit that like button, share, subscribe, drop me a comment down below what you think. I'll catch you on the next one. Peace.